Previously on Part 1, Mathias and the gang obliterate the demons like it was nothing. Then they get a scholarship status from the academy and decide that he wants to go and investigate the dragon veins and their connection with the demons. Mathias decides to explore Melkia dungeon, but learns that now an adventurer city has been built over it. They can reach the city in a few days or by passing through a forest. Alma and Luri tried to convince Mathias to avoid passing through a forest on the journey, but accidentally make Mathias curious when they mention an intelligent monster that lives there. Mathias goes into the first with his team and wanders deeper alone to meet the monster. He senses that there was something more powerful than any monster he had fought before because this monster was commanding the other monsters around it. It was surely intelligent. An intelligent and powerful monster is certainly hard to defeat. Well, not for Mathias. He easily defeats the monster and returns back with a huge boar for their dinner just to show off. After reaching Melkia, the group learns the Melkian Lord has been making the city unsafe on purpose and also has full control over the Adventurer Guild. The Lord has been making the adventurers do whatever job he gives them. The Lord has also been purposely sending the adventurers to the dungeons below the city and making them fight powerful monsters, making most of the adventurers come back from a monster hunt severely injured. Mathias offers to help the adventurers and use his healing magic. The doctors there try to stop him as he is a literal kid, but Mathias proves that he is even more competent than the doctors are. Our overpowered hero then learns from the doctors that the previous lord passed away suspiciously without even having any ailments, causing him to suspect the new lord is a demon making adventuring as dangerous as possible to kill off strong adventurers. He sends a secret letter to Edward to pass to the king, then plans to spend the next day hunting the monster that injured the adventurers. The team has no issue killing the monster in the dungeon, and this attracts the lord's interest. When Mathias and the others go to report the killing to the guild, he tells the lady there that the 3 girls had killed the demon and he didn't even lift a finger. The lady reports this to the Lord, believing that Mathias was only a pawn to the girls who were the actual beasts in the crew. As soon as they leave the guild that night after dinner, a group of adventurers starts following them. They were paid by the Lord to make Mathias and his gang submit to the Lord. The foolish adventurers jump in on them and take Mathias captive, believing him to be the weakest member in the crew. Go ahead guys, let's take a moment to laugh at these idiots in the comment section. Mathias, however, doesn't take liberty to beat them off and Iris does it for them. Perhaps Mathias would have been a little kinder as Iris just punches them to oblivion. In response to his letter, the king sends his royal proxy, Ake, to order Mathias to take the Lord into custody. Ake tells Mathias that he can send for help to beat the Lord's personal guards, but Mathias disagrees. He barges in the main gate to the Lord's mansion and beat every single one of the 100 guards gathered there with just one hit. It's just too easy for our hero. He's like the one-punch man of this world, but instead of punches, he uses magic. He's one spell man. Mathias takes the man unconscious and hands him over to the Ake to take back to the capital. Just then, Mathias realizes the demon controlling of Melkia have found the dungeon's dragon vein and summoned a monster horde outside the city. The party quickly enters the dungeon again and locates the dragon veins. Mathias leaves Luri in exchange for bringing the veins back into stability and getting rid of the demonic aura from it, while Iris and Alma protect her from the monster that may appear. Mathias, on the other hand, goes to beat the demons who were controlling the veins. Eavesdropping on the demon's telepathic conversation, Mathias realizes that there is an even higher-ranked demon somewhere else advising the demon on how to beat Mathias. The Master Demon seems to know about the sorcerer Gaius, which meant that it is very old, smart, and powerful, even though he is unsure if Mathias is Gaius's reincarnation or not. He carefully guides the monster to deal with Mathias. With the Master Demon's help, this demon seems a bit too powerful and a bit too capable of dealing with Mathias. He starts to show that he is in fact a greater threat. He can surely beat Mathias. Psych! Mathias swiftly uses his barrier magic to block the demon's connection with his master and overwhelms him, eventually splitting his head from his body. Back at the upper levels, Luri restores the vein and gets rid of the demonic aura, which causes the summoned monsters outside the city to vanish. Just as Mathias decides to get out, the Master Demon intercepts his telepathy, and the two casually threaten each other and decide to meet in the future. Finally, Mathias becomes excited at the thought of an actual challenge. While on the telepathic call, Mathias had captured the demon's magical signature in a magic stone for some reason. The device is currently said to be across the border in the Rodinia Alliance, a group of allied kingdoms, and to cross the border, he needs permission from the king. Thus, the party decides to return back to the capital to get some rest and also the permission from the king to travel. If only they had passports at that time. It certainly wouldn't feel like fantasy, though. Back at the capital, after seeing that Mathias and Iris had broken everything and fearing that much more students like them could arrive, the academy was demolished to make way for a newly upgraded academy. The party sticks around for long enough to help with the construction of the academy as well. After receiving permission to cross the border, Mathias learns that his device is in Folkia region. However, Folkia region had a rule that only A-rank adventurers could enter it, so Mathias decides to take the A-rank promotion exam. At the center of the exam, an adventurer, Giluas, who is ranked S, pops up out of nowhere, boasting about his skill and relentless will to fight. He nonchalantly promotes Iris, Luri, and Alma, but insists on fighting Mathias, who has become famous as a dragon slayer. Giluas proves to be the strongest opponent Mathias has faced, even able to copy Mathias' combat moves. Perhaps, maybe this time, Mathias has found his perfect match? Psych! Mathias is still victorious. The whole psych thing is getting way out of hand, but that's just how strong our hero is. Mathias, however, acknowledges that Giluas was a tougher fight than usual and advises him on some books to read so that he could get even stronger. That's right, kids, stay in school. It even helps adventurers, so it will surely help you. In return, Giluas advises them that Folkia is a dangerous place where adventurers frequently vanish, so they must stay on their guard at all times. The group continues to Folkia, and they immediately sense 32 disguised devils, a type of demon that is weak at magic and prefer to fight in large groups. The sense of these demons is faint, but it's coming from all over the city, meaning that they were spread out and operating in large groups inside the city itself. Folkia was full of demons. In order to get into the city, Mathias undercovers a concealed tunnel, or more precisely, a sewage tunnel through which they travel into the city. Once they enter the city of Folkia, they immediately realize that citizens have all been hypnotized to keep them mindless. These citizens walked like zombies from one place to another, with their final destination being the large factory at the center of the town. They were being used as puppets to work there. Mathias uses his magic to nullify the spell's effect on his party and himself. They then pretend, somewhat successfully, to be just like the citizens and infiltrate the factory to find the citizens were being made to refine Lankan demon ore. 1 ton of this refined ore could be used to make a bomb powerful enough to destroy an entire country. Though it is so rare, collecting 1 ton takes decades, it was clear what the demons were doing, and they needed to be stopped. At night, Mathias plans to take out the demons, but facing devils is dangerous as they can use sense share, so once one devil is aware of them, all 32 of them will know as well. However, Mathias has a plan. They lure the entirety of the devils to nearby the factory and start killing the devils one by one until only 10 remain. The remaining 10 decide to use small pieces of ore to blow up the city. Surely, if a city is destroyed, Mathias and his friends were doomed. Psych! Giluas suddenly appears before they could even move ahead with their plans and instantly kills 9 of the 10 demons with only the devil's leader remaining. Giluas duels him alone as Mathias watches. Pleased to see Giluas has already improved his spellcasting as well, clearly indicating that he had been studying. Now Giluas was strong, but he is no Mathias, and so, after a long difficult fight, the devil is defeated but not yet dead. The spell on the villagers breaks and the devil falls to the floor. With his dying breath, the devil suddenly gains his foot and passes on a message he will soon be resurrected, then disintegrates into thin air. The devil, despite being a demon, seemed a little weird as he died, and Mathias realizes the master demon responsible for Melkia was also controlling the devil via necromancy to pass on the message. Giluas names the factory's foreman the new Lord of Folkia and parts ways with Mathias. The group then continues on their journey and finally reaches the ruins hiding the device. Mathias seems a bit too familiar with the place, and the crew grows suspicious of him, but he still forces himself to conceal the fact it was he who built the ruins. Using his device, Mathias confirms the Master Demon's name is Zardias, and he was sealed long ago. The demons weren't killed and were instead sealed because he was too powerful to be killed. Simply unkillable, and so the guys back then did the sus move and Flex seals him into that magic stone. Realizing the true identity of the demon, Mathias is certain that at this point he is too weak to defeat Zardias, and even if he was strong enough, their battle would likely destroy the world and push humanity to extinction. His only hope was to find the best sword that he had forged during his life as Gaius. He discovers that the sword was back at the capital itself, and more precisely in the king's treasury. To save the hassle of the long journey back, Iris turns back into a dragon to give them a lift. Just as they are about to reach the capital, Zardias finally resurrects. For a demon, he is surprisingly true to his words. The demon finally appears in all his glory, so that he can stop Mathias from finding the sword. Mathias, however, sends Luri and Alma to get the sword, while he holds back Zardias as long as he can. Mathias draws his sword, and Zardias draws his own, and just like a demon, he has no honor, because instead of aiming for Mathias, he aims and almost manages to one-shot Iris, almost killing her instantly from the hit. Zardias was the real deal. Elsewhere, Luri and Alma reach the king's palace and request to get access to the treasury to find the sword for Mathias, and there is one stupid soldier who thinks that they are there to steal stuff from the treasury. If only the guy had ever looked outside any one of the windows of the castle, he would surely not have missed a literal demon fighting a dragon and a kid. The king reprimands him and probably gave him a death sentence later, and gives the girls access to the treasury. Outside, Mathias for the first time is barely able to keep up with Zardias. He is injured and fears that at his state, he might be able to beat Zardias, but his life may end. During the battle, as all classic villains do, Zardias reveals that all the demons Mathias has defeated have been resurrected inside the barrier. Just like the necromancy earlier with the devil, Zardias had managed to revive all the dead demons from inside the capital to be revived and kill Luri and Alma. As the girls rush outside with the sword that they had found, several demons that their party had defeated start intervening them. The stupid soldier from earlier redeems himself as well by saving them from one of the demon's fatal attacks, so he's cool now. However, a really powerful demon shows up and turns the battle to the demon's side again. Luri and Alma are saved by Edward and the academy students. They manage to capture and eventually kill the demon while the girls throw the sword back to Mathias. Mathias reaches out to grab the sword, and just as he holds onto it, Zardias stabs his sword through the back of the hero, and all the way out. Mathias, the savior of the world, was dead. But, as I love to say it, psych! Mathias comes back to life, revealing the sword was the most powerful he ever created. If the wielder dies, their life force is used to resurrect them. Zardias looks on in horror and contemplates his actions for the few minutes that he remains alive, as with his sword, Mathias is impossible to defeat. Before dying, Zardias warns Mathias that the cycle will continue and he can't save the world forever. Surely, another demon will just replace Zardias, and no one will be there to save humanity that time around. Since not much of what the king offers is of any interest to Mathias anyways, the king simply once again gives them access to the treasury as a reward. There, Mathias discovers an adamantine arrow he crafted in his previous life, but the matching bow, however, doesn't seem to be anywhere. He tracks down the bow to the Isis company who, not knowing the value of adamantine, melted it down. Mathias is forced to buy all their scrap metal, as well as some magic stones for the girls, but it doesn't really bother him that much, as he is pretty much rich by killing all those monsters in the dungeons anyway. Just as they exit the shop, they are once again summoned back to the palace by Edward. At the palace, Guile informs Mathias of an incident where their neighboring Sihil Empire was attacked by an army of artificial doll soldiers. This master puppetry seems a bit too unusual for any normal magic caster, and so Mathias deduces that perhaps a demon is responsible for this whole thing and may be in control of Sihil. They decide that it's best that Mathias and his crew go ahead and investigate the incident, and, after fully recovering, the party decides to set off to Sahil for their next adventure. Just as Zardias predicted, there was always going to be another demon. So, will Mathias ever be beaten? Will he ever find a worthy opponent? We will find out when they release Season 2. Subscribe for more videos like this, turn on the notification, and leave a like to help the channel out. Thanks for watching!